Value time and make the best use of it. I'm not a Lagos boy. I wasn't born here like my wife. I didn't grow up here. I actually arrived in Lagos after I graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University. I grew up in Ile-Ife on the university campus. And so when I finally came to Lagos to come and start my youth corps, and I started working in a consulting company that had its office on Marina, I remember being awed and just riding in awe in the bus, looking and seeing all these tall buildings. I mean, you should have seen me at that time. I was looking like one of those local village boys. But then, one of the things that I noticed also was that in traffic, all the guys who looked like the successful people, especially all the chauffeur-driven, sitting at the back in their nice class cars, I noticed something. None of them were looking at the buildings that I was looking at. Most of them were either reading the newspapers, reading a document, doing something. They were engaged with something in their car. They weren't looking at the buildings that I was looking at. And so I used to wonder to myself, is it only me that is impressed with all these buildings, until it occurred to me that the people who build great buildings don't look at great buildings. They look at something else that helps them build great buildings. In fact, most people that you will see on television, they don't stay in front of the television, they stay in front of the camera. You see, the truth about it is everyone has 24 hours, but not everybody has the same amount of idle time. Some people have more hours of idle time than others. And the difference between the winners and the losers, the great and the average, those who are hugely successful and those who are struggling to be successful, is not just in the use of their time, it's actually in the management of their idle time. There are 4 kinds of idle time I want to talk to you about very quickly. The first one is what you call excess sleep. One of the things we found out is that a lot of people who, do well in life, they don't sleep much longer than the body requires of them to sleep. In fact, sometimes they do struggle with sleep. Those who actually don't do very well, they can sleep so much for so long that they wake up being tired. The second kind of idle time is called travel time. Travel time is the distance between when you leave your departure point and when you arrive at your destination. You see, some people like me spent our travel time looking at the buildings. Other people were using their travel time to study, to prepare themselves for where they were going. They were developing themselves. They were using that time to become a better version of themselves by the time they get to their arrival point. The third kind of idle time is called waiting time. Waiting time is the time between when you arrive at your destination and when you start the purpose for which you arrived at your destination, which simply means, for instance, waiting time is the time between when you arrived for a meeting and when the meeting starts. What do you do whilst you're waiting? Some people use that time to prepare for the meeting, other people just while away the time. The last form of idle time is called leisure time. And leisure time is a time when you can either choose to relax or recreate. You see, if you look at the word lax, it means spoil body. But if you look at the word create, it means to make new, to make afresh. Your leisure time is supposed to be the time that you use to recreate yourself, not just relax. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with relaxing, but one of the things we find out is that those who use their leisure time to recreate become a better version of themselves by the time they get to their place of purpose. So would you like to leave a great legacy with your life? Would you like to accomplish great success? Would you like to be able to make a mark and become a role model for others? Well, the secret sauce is to value time and make the best use of it.